What's up, junkies? Welcome back in for another edition of Pigskin Junkies. Myself, Michael Larson, big brother Jared Larson, and Scott Panza here to recap the Sunday of Week 13 in the NFL and the last and always most exciting weekend in college football. That is rivalry weekend, Week 14. Here to recap the picks, and now we're starting to see some heads rolling as well in the college football ranks. The transfer portal looks like a train going from Beijing to Hong Kong. It is going to just be loaded with people. But fellas, how do we feel about our football weekend? Scott, looked like you got into some college football.
I got into some college football. Actually, I backed up the trucks on Ohio State and Auburn, and
Boom.
pretty good getting both of them to come through. And then I've been dipping my toes in Colorado State for some reason. I really like the quarterback, O'Brien. I imagine that his father was the Jets quarterback, O'Brien, and he has a howitzer of an arm. And he got there as plus 14 home dogs. And then it's been a really good NFL week. I had a great Thanksgiving. I had a Bears money line, Bears minus 2.5, because I booked it really early in the week, and then I backed it up with Lions plus 6 as a hedge and middle type of play, and all those came through. Obviously, the Buffalo Bills were monster winners. We couldn't get enough money on that one. And last second, I took the Saints with the Julio Jones news. Even though I was leaning Falcons all week, I reversed myself. But today was a really good day. 4-1 in gold, 4-1 in Super Contest. Bengals, Steelers, home dogs. Couldn't be more excited for both of them. They were like total puke fest types of games that you didn't want to play, but Andy Dalton got his offense rolling. Sam Darnold and the Jets just know how to let teams get their first wins of the season. Both the Dolphins and the Bengals get their first wins against those guys, and same team that beat the Cowboys earlier this year. It's just shocking. And then what else? Chiefs, never in doubt, just laid the lumber on the Raiders. And what am I missing? What was the fourth one? Oh, Titans, Wonk Vader, pick of the week. Good game. Was tight, but Brissett and the offense really didn't have too many answers late, and they just couldn't score on that Titans defense, which is a stout run defense, and Logan Ryan's a stud in the secondary. Loss on the Eagles, total puker. Really, really, really frustrating to lose that one because they were up 28-14 and they just totally pitched that one. And their defense, which I thought was making coming around, just didn't get it done. So really disappointing there. But 4-1. I mean, pretty much in gold. I'm 5 back entering the weekend. The guy who was in, there's 2 guys in first. One guy, I think he went 1-4, 2-3. So pretty much I just need to average 4-1 weekends to really even have a prayer. But I stand 36-29 right now in that. So feeling like I'm hitting my stride a little bit here. And then Circa was just a flattish. I had a 2-3 entry. I had a 3-2 entry and a 3-1 entry. I sprinkled Seahawks, Cards, and Ravens and Giants. Those were losers, but I had Titans, Bengals, Steelers, a steady dose of that, and Chiefs to get there. So, pretty happy with the weekend. But just in the gold, I just pretty much just got to nail the slate the rest of the way, and doing the deed thus far in the past 2 weeks with both 4-1 weeks.
It's easy. Just pick 80%. It's easy.
Yeah, piece of cake.
I mean, you did do it last year for 16, 17 weeks.
Yeah.
So maybe you can do it for 5 or 6. How many? What is this? Week 13? So you have 4 left?
4 left.
14, 15, 16, 17. Yay.
Yeah.
That's weird to say.
I know.
But the college is just getting done. I know.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I said, it's here and then boom, gone in a flash of an instant.
Yep.
So yeah, I like I said, greatest weekend of the year, capped off by a wonderful Saturday night in Jordan-Hare Stadium, which I will cover here in a minute. But Thursday, I had Ole Miss +2. We gave out, I think, 2.5 on the show, Micah.
Yeah, I think so.
And then
I told everyone I was going
click,
money
click,
line.
And then I went click, click, click after that. Actually closed Ole Miss -2. And then I was going back and forth with John Murray on Thursday night, on Thanksgiving night, talking about games ending on 1. They do a show with him and Kelly in Vegas talking about how games normally end on 1. Interestingly enough, I normally say the same thing. Games never end on 1. If it's a 1-point number, usually I just take the money line. As I had said the night before, I bet 2.5. So curious how many of our listeners wound up either having to lay points, unfortunately, or if it, call it middle of the day on Thursday, end of the day on Thursday, right before the game. There were some +1s out there. So curious if people lean towards the money line or whatnot. Obviously, that game ended atrociously. The dude did the pissing dog celebration, and we were sitting around watching it. And I said, lead pipe lock, this guy misses his kick. And obviously he did, and a horrible way to end it for Ole Miss. And but it was
Matt Luke in general, horrible way to end it for Matt Luke.
Horrible. It will be dealt with internally, and then the head coach is fired. So, a good cap to the evening. I lean towards that one over a rather putrid Saints Falcons. We're back on the Dan Quinn is fired train at the end of the season. So I was watching a lot more college. So turned the calendar to Friday. Nebraska comes out of the box with a winner. That was nice. They kind of got punched in the mouth, and then, as I anticipated, a field goal game one way or the other. Virginia got us to the window as well with an outright win over Virginia Tech. Love to see that. Fans stormed the field after, losing 14 of the last 15 games in that rivalry. So it had been quite some time since they lost. And then who else do we have? And that was it for that day. So Friday was a good day, 2-0. Again, purposes of my record, 3-0 to start the college football weekend. I understand some of our listeners were probably on the wrong side of that Ole Miss game. Started out the day with Ohio State with a winner. Rutgers, no idea. I remember I was sitting there, and that's how befuddled I was. I'm looking up at the scoreboard, so they have this like ticker in between the two levels at Jordan-Hare, and it was like 7-3 at halftime, and I'm like, what is going on?
Even obviously, I saw that and I couldn't believe it. I was like, what? I guess they were so excited for Greg Schiano.
They must have been. I looked at that, and at halftime I'm like, well, they're not going to cover 40 if they're up by 4 at halftime. So you chalk that one up as a loser. And of course, I was very involved in our game. I actually spoke with Scott this morning, and as said to him, as a non-fan, I'm sure that was quite entertaining and fun to watch. But as a someone with a dog in the fight, that game got over at I think about 6:30 Central, and I was ready for bed. I was absolutely exhausted. The place was rocking. It was great. One of these times, Nick Saban's going to spend a scholarship on a kicker. I continue to be befuddled at how many games how good they are, and how many games that they lose on special teams, errors, missed kicks, etc. That he continues to not use a scholarship on one of those players. They're literally losing him some of the most important games that he plays. Take away from that game in terms of a kind of crossover for this podcast is all of those receivers are going to play at the next level.
Yep.
Seeing it with my own two eyes, we tried to press them all night. I think Mike and I talked a little bit about this on the podcast, the preview podcast, and they just got scorched. Those dudes were running open by 6, 8, 10 yards. We weren't able to get any pressure on Mac Jones, and when we were, it was sacks and or pick sixes. So I'm a little perplexed as to why we didn't blitz more based on the outcomes we were getting. But Jerry Jeudy, all world, he dropped one ball that was, I can't believe he dropped it, hit him right in the face. So I told the guy next to me, I'm like, that's not going to happen again. And Jalen Waddle just smoked us. It's hard to see the stats live in the stadium, but I came back after and saw he went like 4 for 126 and 3 touchdowns plus a kick return touchdown. He was just teasing us the entire time. I actually called Mike at halftime, and I said, "Is there something that I'm missing?" Because, I watch enough football from those seats that are our seats, and it's going to be a big play, but you're like, okay, we'll tackle him 20, 15, 10, somewhere in there. Like, obviously it's not ideal, but we should get him down. And then he just, boom, next thing I know, the referee over in the corner has got his two arms up in the air. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And you see some of the replays, the guy's just lightning speed. So that was good. K-State outright winner, UNC outright winner. So it was, look, like I said, I felt good about the card. I nailed it outside of Penn State, which was just a complete whiff. I missed Wake Forest as well. Near misses of Northwestern cashed. It was, all in all, it was a really good day. Saturday, of course, with the large exclamation point of our Auburn Tigers, not only covering the number, but also getting the win against our hated rivals across town or across the state, excuse me. So it was a great day all in all for the Larson family. And then today 3-1 in the Circa, with the primary loser being the Jags. Yikes. Nick Foles got paid. Apparently he's done. It looks like Gardner Minshew will be the guy in Jacksonville, whether they like it or not. And the other three were Bengals. Let me pull them up here. Bengals cash outright. I felt really good about that one. That was actually a cash play for me as well. Titans, and then Niners. Yeah. So back and forth game. I listened to quite a bit of that one on the radio. Sounds like it was really competitive, and bummed that I missed it on TV. But I currently have Vikings pending in Super Contest, and Vikings and Texans. Vikings and Texans in Super Contest, and Texans only pending in Circa. So great weekend. The accounts are juiced. The heart is juiced. It was all around positive, and great way to put an exclamation mark at the end of the college football season.
Fellas, I don't want to brag, but I did spike the 3-game money line parlay on Thanksgiving, so that was exciting.
Yeah.
And then I went
like
Bills
6-1 or something like that?
Yeah. How good did that feel?
It felt great. So it gave me an opportunity to just lose it all over the weekend because I felt great about Ole Miss. I was like, yeah, this is awesome. And then I'm sitting in bed, Peyton and I are watching the game. She's like half asleep. And I see him lift his leg, and I immediately scream, "You idiot!" And
did you wake her up?
I did. She was like, what's going on? I'm like, this idiot just did a celebration. I thought it was funny. I really did. It's a funny.
It was a great celebration. Yeah. It was hysterical. But you can't do it there.
Exactly. And so that's where I was like, no. And sure enough, like Jared said, we both knew in that moment, it's like, this kid's going to miss the kick. Sure enough, he does. Ball game. Oklahoma State was down 7 at halftime, and then came out and only scored 3 points in the second half. Meanwhile, Oklahoma came out with their hair on fire. And,
they're going to get in.
Yeah. Ended up winning 34-16. So that one was not a cover for me. And then North Carolina, Jared already hit on a cover. Ohio State took Michigan and Jim Harbaugh and his stupid khakis to the woodshed.
They're good.
They're very good.
They're real good.
I liked the post-game press conference, too. So, Scott, you'll probably get a kick out of this. They asked Harbaugh, what's the biggest difference between you and Ohio State? You've lost 5 in a row. And is it a coaching gap? Is it a talent gap? Is it whatever? And Harbaugh just goes, "I'll answer your questions. I won't answer your insults." That's all he said.
I did see that. I thought it was hilarious. I mean, that reporter, just get off your high horse, bro.
Yeah.
The guy just got cooked again, embarrassed in a massive rivalry game, and that's the type of question you're asking for him to talk to you like a piece of shit.
Yeah, exactly.
He's asking for it.
100%.
He actually probably wanted that because now he'll get more clicks.
Exactly.
I would say he'll get more clicks.
Scott knows how media works. And then
click. I wish I would have done some more. The rate I was going, I wish I'd have had some more clicks on my account this weekend.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, I know. I was thinking the same thing this morning because I didn't go as risk on as I wanted to on Bengals and Steelers. And of course, I'm watching both games. I'm like, oh, just total missed opportunity. And then the Broncos, as soon as the game kicked off, I was just thinking, why didn't I just hammer this team? It's just such a poorly coached Chargers team. Defensive line for the Broncos are just going to just blitzkrieg Phillip Rivers. And sure enough, they get the win outright. So, missed opportunities, but, can't be too salty overall. I'm just angry. I forget about all the winners. I'm just still angry about the freaking Panthers. The Panthers were in all my teaser legs, and they somehow went from 14 points ahead to giving up 29 unanswered to Dwayne Haskins and an awful offensive line to lose outright at home. So I really cannot wait to see what David Tepper does, just firing all these buffoons that are currently on the coaching staff of the Panthers and who they bring in next. I think with his background of success and he's gonna do some wonky things there with the Panthers, and I'm curious to see where the Panthers franchise is in 5 to 10 years because Ron Rivera had a nice run there, made it to a Super Bowl, got cooked, but curious to see where the Panthers where they are in the echelon of NFL franchises in 10 years because I think they're going to be one of the better franchises in football.
Ooh.
I really do.
Whoa. Gotta write that one down.
I'm a Tepper believer.
You gotta pin that to our Twitter.
Someone liked a tweet that I had from earlier in the year where I said I was short Jameis and Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Oh, pick in the Pats game. What happened? Where I was short, Jameis, Mike Evans, and Chris Godwin. Eating my words big time on that one.
Those guys.
They can't all be winners, right?
They can't.
I was going to say, you can't win them all.
Hey, but here's the thing, Scott. You do something, and we all do on this show, and that's why we do it, is we have the cojones to put it out there for people to judge and hear it, and they can say all this hypothetical stuff, but we're having to put it out there on the line simultaneously.
An actual record.
Exactly. Yeah. For people to look back on, and that just kind of comes with the territory. So don't ever let the man get you down. Don't ever let the man get you down.
No, you can't. You can't.
Well, fellas, so we got the Sunday night game going on right now, and Scott's having to watch that kind of simultaneously all doing the podcast. So we're going to try and get into our Monday night talk. Big NFC playoff implications here as the Vikings travel to Seattle. I'm terrified, but excited. But at the same time, if I jump on the Kirk Cousins' is back bandwagon, he's going to play horrible. So I'm just going to keep thinking he's not great so I don't get my hopes up. I'm going to move along. But, fellas, what do you think about the game? Because I heard Scott say Seattle earlier, and I got Jared saying Vikings.
Yeah. So, actually, I saw Seattle minus 2.5, so I booked some action today. Seattle can go claim number 2 seed in the NFC with a win tomorrow. No Adam Thielen for the Vikings, a place that is historically extremely difficult to play in on the road. So I really like the spot for the Seahawks tomorrow. Hopefully Clowney is back, and that's still the question mark, but I really think they're just going to be able to throw. Russell Wilson's going to be able to throw all over the Vikings secondary, which really has been exposed this season. And I think they're going to light him up tomorrow. I mean, it'll be, light him up. 10-point win for the Seahawks. I think they cover the number. I think the game goes over, and I think we see a little more of primetime Kirk Cousins that we were used to in the past and not necessarily this season.
Ooh. When Micah starts selling the Vikings is when I start scooping up all of the shares because the blood is in the streets and it's time to buy, boys and girls. I think been pretty spot on at the Seahawks team all year as a dog on the road. I'll take them every time because I get Russell Wilson. However, when they come home and start laying points, interestingly, despite the fact that they're 9-2 overall, only 3-2 at home. So This advantage has lost a little bit of its luster recently over the past couple of years under Pete Carroll. I think that obviously Danger Russ is our guy and we love him, but I feel like the Seahawks have reached a peak price here, and the Vikings are continuing to play well, and Kirk got rid of, hopefully at least, some of his primetime demons. Was that last week or 2 weeks ago? They're all kind of running together here on me, but
2 weeks. Well,
2 weeks ago,
3
yeah.
now because
yeah,
bye week.
Yeah, you're right. So 3. 2 games ago, say it that way. They're running the ball fantastically well. Kirk Cousins is tailor-made for play-action pass because he's not going to beat you super deep down the field, but if you can get his guys open with that threat of play action that Dalvin Cook provides so well, I think he'll be able to carve up a pretty pedestrian Seattle defense. I think there's quite a bit of a brand around this team and their defense based on the peak era and the last, call it 10 years. I think it's well-deserved. But when you start digging into the metrics this year, I think this is a team that matches up well against Seattle. I agree, Scott. Clowney will be a huge addition if he does indeed play. The question, of course, is if he does go, to what degree is he able to do so? But Seattle's got to win to keep pace in the division. So it'll be an interesting game. I definitely will be locked in. This will probably be one of them that I'll stay up and watch and just, bite the bullet on Tuesday morning. So I'm taking Vikings. I'm on Vikings in Super Contest. I did not grab the 3, unfortunately. So hopefully it'll get back there tomorrow. But if not, I may do a little half and half, plus 2.5, and some on the money line as well.
I'll tell you, it's interesting because 65% of the bets are on Seattle and it's moving against them. So the heavy money's coming in on the Vikings. The money's also coming in on the over. It's moved up from 48.5 to 49.5. So I think it's going to be a really entertaining game. I just really like the angle that the Seahawks, knowing that, especially at home, knowing that if they win, they're going to be the number 2 seed, but the 49ers lost today. I think it gets them over the hump a little bit. So that's my take, and I will definitely I already have some cash on it.
It's gonna be a fun one, and that NFC race just keeps getting thicker and thicker. Now, I will say it is stupid to think,
Except for the East.
Yeah.
Oh God,
No one wants to
cancel
win.
the NFC East this year. Forget about it. All that talk about the AFC East being trash. It's the NFC East, total trash.
Well, here's a fun thing to think about. Potentially, not potentially, this will happen. An NFC East team will host a wild card game against either the most likely
like
Minnesota
11-5 Vikings.
or the Seattle Seahawks.
It's going to be sick because what's going to happen is they're going to be like a touchdown underdog at home, and they're going to cover the number even though they have no business being in the game. It's just going to be – I can already see it. It's going to be Vikings -7 in Philly, and then the Vikings win like 27-24, and the Eagles get there on the cover.
It's going to be – it's just insane.
Inception, that one.
I was like, I can tell you who I'll be on if there's a home team in the playoffs getting 7 points. I don't care what the name is on the front of the jersey. I will be on them.
And if we're playing the Eagles in a wild card game, I'm going to be in a bunker. I'm not even going to turn on the TV. I'm just going to sit there and eat like sunflower seeds and peanuts for hours and just wait and have Peyton knock on the door when it's over. It's like,
Yeah. Like, what happened?
Yeah,
Just tell me.
What year is it? Be like, Jumanji. There's a movie reference. I was trying to get one in there. Well,
you
Scott, we will let you get back to watching your Pats game. Quick question. Did you see what the Texans linebackers were wearing into the game?
Oh, yeah. SWAT team. That's immediately booked some action on the Patriots as soon as they saw that. Harken back to the time that they wore Letterman jackets against the Patriots in an absolute dumpster fire.
That's
for them.
right. And they got
Forgot about
spanked.
that.
Oh God, I think they laid like 48 points on them that night. I think that was a Thursday night game. I could be mistaken. It was Thursday night, right? Just
Yeah, that
absolutely
was so
just
funny.
demolished them. So That was part of my motivation tonight when I saw SWAT team. The thing that really just tortured me tonight, and why I don't have more action on this one, is just the Pats. All of them had the flu so bad that they had to take 2 planes out to this game, one for the sick people, one for the not sick people. So, it must have been really bad to be infected in that office. And then
Bobby had to buy a separate plane just for this game.
Yeah. And then, a little bit of a look at it, Bob, because next week we got the Chiefs coming to town on the late game, not the Sunday nighter, but the Sunday 4:30 game. So,
when's the next time the Patriots play at 1:00? That's what I want to know. Never.
I think we have a.
When they play the Jets, probably.
No, we already beat the Jets twice this year. Actually, I don't know if they have another one. It's a good question.
Oh, here it is. I'm looking at it right now. At Bengals and Dolphins.
Oh, cakewalks.
Versus Bills, 12-21, 4:30.
Yeah, it's a Saturday game.
Well, one last thing for you here, Scotty. Your Mike Tomlin for Coach of the Year might be resurrected. Yes, I agree. Dead. Not dead. With everything going on with that man, it's one of those deals where everyone remember when Peyton Manning was out the whole year and the Colts were absolutely terrible, and they said Peyton Manning should win the MVP. This is the Steelers aren't the best team in the AFC, but you look at everything that they're missing, and they're 7-6,
7-5,
7-5. I mean,
7-5 in the playoffs.
I think
with
today,
third string quarterback. Right? Incredible. Yeah. Their top receiver out, their top running back out. It's a really impressive job by Tomlin for sure. That defense is so legit. Imagine if they did have Big Ben, they'd be a little scary.
Yeah. Huge praise coming out of the
I don't think the teams change. Think how fun that would be. Pats, Ravens, Chiefs, Texans, Bills, Steelers.
Oh, that just sounds like some playoff football right there.
Yeah, Bills absolutely gave them the work. That was phenomenal on Thanksgiving. Oh,
they're going to win 12 games. Bills are going to win 12 games. Unbelievable.
Easiest money we ever made right there. Season win total.
It was just loved it so much.
Well, with that, fellas, we're going to get out of here. We'll tweet out, or we'll talk about where we're at in the sweepstakes next week. I don't know if you guys have it in front of you.
I'm still in first place.
Okay, there you go. Scott's still in first place. Nothing else matters.
He definitely checked today.
Oh,
He's in first. Nothing else matters. You all suck.
So there it is. Thanks so much for tuning in, Junkies. We hope you had a wonderful weekend of football and still eating plenty of leftover turkey. Go to your local supermarket, buy some Hawaiian rolls, eat it with your ham. It's phenomenal.
Ryan Tannehill.
Mike Malarkey.